Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
We hope everybody is doing well out there.
Indeed.
So we see here Candida auris, Texas and Washington, seeing an outbreak of an untreatable superbug fungus. And, this is something not to be taken lightly. We've seen many cases or heard of many cases of this over in India. So according to the CDC, a drug-resistant superbug fungus, Candida auris, is rapidly spreading in the United States, states of Texas and Washington. It's emergent frequently multi-drug resistant yeast that is highly transmissible, resulting in healthcare-associated outbreaks, particularly in long-term care facilities. Preys on people with compromised immune systems, discovered in 2009, caused at least 587 illnesses in the U.S. since 2013. According to evidence, the new cases involve person-to-person transmission, a first for the U.S., according to the CDC. The agency discovered no epidemiological links between Texas and D.C. clusters. 30-day mortality in both outbreaks was 30%. The relative contribution of C. auris, however, remained unknown according to the agency. 101 cases of C. auris was discovered in Washington, D.C. between January and April of 2021 at a long-term care facility. 3 of those were isolated as being resistant to all 3 major classes of antifungal medications. During the same time period, 22 C. auris cases were discovered in Texas. 2 of these were resistant to all 3 major classes of antifungal medications, while 5 were resistant to only one. These 7 cases were found in patients treated at 2 facilities in the same city. 2 were at long-term acute care hospital, 3 at short-term acute care hospital, and 2 at both, according to CDC. These 2 simultaneous independent clusters provide the first evidence suggesting that C. auris strains might have been transmitted in the U.S. healthcare setting. CDC's Megan Lyman, author of the report, said in a statement, "Surveillance, public health reporting, and infection control measures are critical to containing further spread. Clinicians should consider early antifungal susceptibility testing in patients with C. auris infection, especially in those with treatment failure. Data are lacking about the most appropriate therapy for antifungal resistant infections." And so when we look to the CDC map, you can see these are states that have cases. And you can see actually California, New York, Florida, and Illinois all have the highest amount of cases. And then we see Texas and Indiana and some others following suit thereafter. It's a nasty thing. It's kind of horrible because it's basically like a flesh-eating thing,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really bad. And you notice they said no, they're drug resistant. So this is something where we have to pull in our holistic learning and pull in our other things that we know about herbs and look at it with that aspect.
And we bring it up because before we looked at any news this morning, and today was a really busy day with energy work. That's why it's 8 o'clock at night and we're doing the video.
Yeah.
Usually we're well done by now. It's because Cindy was getting this morning in meditation from the galactics this exact thing, just a warning to be aware. And well, you tell them what you basically got. Just basically
It said treat for it. It just said be healthy, get your system all cleaned out, treat for it, be ready to get rid of it. And, if this hits you, if you have a fungal infection like this, make sure your body is ahead of the game.
Yeah, and when we look at the current plague upon the land and everything that we've been going through, there are many people with compromised immune systems right now. Many, many, many. How many people are basically exhausted, wiped out, and tired? Some of this is natural because of the increased cosmic rays, the increased energy, the ascension process itself, getting downloads. And some of it is basically everything that we're being bombarded with every single day. And we're obviously talking about pathogens, viruses, bacteria, as well as frequencies. So, that's something to take very, very seriously. And one of the last channelings we got from the Galactics was all about, again, they keep stressing taking care of yourself physically. You have to be in as good a shape as you could get yourself in for this time period. It's going to be very challenging. We have the plague upon the land. We have all sorts of earth changes going on. Fires are so big in the West. Their smoke now covers much of the United States. Yeah, and so we're breathing that in, and that's just one more thing we could add to the mix. As you see, the West is on fire when you look at it, and also, the drought is just getting deeper and deeper and deeper, so deep that you have thieves in California stealing scarce water amid extreme drought, devastating some communities, actually going to some farmers and stuff and just threatening them in a Mad Max-ish scenario.
Wow.
It's kind of, this is where we are heading right now in these times. So as an extreme drought grips California, making water increasingly scarce, thieves are making off with billions of gallons of this precious resource. Water is life. Tapping into fire hydrants, rivers, and even small family homes and farms. State and local officials say water theft is a long-running issue, but intensifying drought has driven the thefts to record levels as reservoirs dry up and bandits make off with stolen water, often to cultivate the growth of illegal marijuana crops. So water stealing has never been more severe. So says the former head of the California Department of Fish and Wildlife Marijuana Enforcement Team. And we've heard reports of people's water supply to their farms, their small farms, being shut off. This is, definitely, we have a long way ahead of us here. And then again, we see reports that Dubai is creating rain and Russia is creating rain. Well, what's up, Governor Newsom? What's up, right?
Yep.
Montana's famed trout under threat. We had talked about the threats to California's trout, and same thing up in Montana as the drought is intensifying. What was it? A river runs through it. That was a classic movie with Brad Pitt. I think it was taking place in Montana, and it had a lot of fly fishing in it and beautiful scenery. And over here, Montana has a ton of wildfires going on right now as well. And unfortunately, the drought is impacting so much of the entire country and really the globe as well, as we either have too much or we don't have any. And one of America's hottest cities is down to one water well. What happens if it goes dry? And so there's only one water well in a town called Needles. And it's basically on the border of California and Arizona. 5,000 residents face the ultimate risk of taps running dry. As temps are soaring past 120 degrees, and in that type of weather, you need to gulp as much as 2 gallons a day. And that's very, very scary prognosis. And we had shared with you guys too that both Cindy and I were getting in meditation visions of seeing a dam that we took to be Lake Mead, perhaps under threat. And there's always going to be these dark, opportunistic, forces that take advantage of dire situations. So again, the need to prepare there and do whatever you can do on a personal level. 6.7 quake shakes Mindanao, and this is in the Philippines. This was at a depth of 112 kilometers. So far, no reports of injuries or no reports of tsunami as well. And then we're just going to look at some of the headlines on the waters. As the earth changes roll on, so do the floods. Heavy rains in Maharashtra break 40-year July record in India. And again, you got one extreme or the other. We have Typhoon Infa moving over Okinawa. Landfall is expected south of Shanghai, China. And, we know all about the dam failures in China and just record flooding. And we have another round of severe flooding hitting northeastern Turkey as well. Jumping over to Electroverse, we see that we have 4 towns in South Africa that just set their coldest temperature ever recorded. So, again, the extremes with both the temperatures as well. And in Russia, for those of you that have heard of the Trans-Siberian Railway, it's a famous railway. Well, there's a bridge over there that has collapsed. And this is in the Russian Far East. And it collapsed due to the flooding again. Now, this one was flooding. This one wasn't any sort of sabotage. Unless you consider that the flooding is the result
itself,
of,
right?
of perhaps, some WWARS is going on, some weather warfare. And even though so much of the world and the country was on lockdown, mass shootings on course for a record year as the U.S. transforms into a violent mess. Yep, it's been crazy from so many different points of view. To date, the number of mass shootings in the U.S. is 21% higher than the same period in 2020, which is 30% higher than the previous high. And you can see all these little dots. That's where there's some mass shootings taking place in the gun violence. And of course, there's been a push against the Second Amendment, as we know, and yet in some places, the laws have actually loosened up. In some states we've seen, where now there's permitless concealed carry, even. So, again, this is that whole big split. Everything we look at, the left-right split, the weather, obviously, the drought, and then the flooding, the extreme heat, the extreme cold. Then we have some states going farther and farther left, all the way to as far left as you could get. And then we have some states going more and more right. It's definitely, it's like a dividing time in so many ways.
Yeah, on many different levels, dimensionally.
Yes, dimensionally, multidimensionally as well. Caracas accuses U.S. of flagrant provocation after a United States Air Force plane illegally flies over Venezuela. And we've talked about all the tensions brewing as far as the conflict or the potential for open conflict between China and the U.S. And, again, I don't see it being just China against the U.S. And I've always seen it being China with Russia, and others would be in that mix too. Obviously, Iran, Venezuela, Cuba. Unless Cuba gets quote unquote liberated before, but that could itself be a trigger for a WW #3. There's so much right now. This definitely looks like chaos is reigning on the planet right now.
It sure does.
And by the way, with Venezuela, who have been under so many sanctions for so long, so has Cuba. Venezuelans enduring day-long waits to fill gasoline. Well, today's Thursday. Well, I know I'm going to go fill my gas tank. That's all I'm going to do today. It's going to take about 10 hours. And hopefully I will get it filled.
I know. Then you got to just sit there and be hopeful. Hurry up, get in line and wait.
Yeah, this is where it's coming to. And then we see these countries that we perceive as third world countries and recognize that similar things could be coming to, the United States, Europe.
Right? Are they the canary in the coal mine?
Yeah. Massive column of smoke visible for miles as a huge fire rages through a food warehouse in northern France. And of course, we've talked about hyperinflation, and we've talked about crop loss and how shortages may be just a matter of months away before it becomes very, very obvious. And this was curious, as there are a lot more drones in the sky than what we've had in times past. But here they used 1,800 drones, and this is in the Tokyo Olympics, to form a sphere that some were saying, is it a Death Star? What are they talking about here?
Wow.
This is actually 1,800 drones flying together in a sphere.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of creepy.
It is. It is. Well, we have our own Death Star. We look up every full moon. There it is.
Every full moon.
What is that really the case?
I know.
So electromagnetism is a property of space-time itself. So says a new study. And now there was another article too that I didn't put out, but Cindy had mentioned it, and it sounded interesting because it was saying how even inanimate objects have consciousness.
Oh, of course they do. Yeah, you betcha they do. It's all a form of source energy. It has to have consciousness to me. I think it's just really interesting. And then electromagnetism, yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere all at once, all the time.
Yeah, and everything is consciousness. Everything is energy. Energy can't be created or destroyed, it only change form. So it just shows us the continuity of life after death, too. It's all these things that we could start to look at from a scientific aspect that is pointing out the great truths of so many of the great philosophies that we have seen throughout time, including, like Taoism, and getting into many of the other traditions, the Western mystery traditions. All is consciousness, all is mind stuff. And electromagnetism is simply it's a property itself of this continuum. And again, the life force, it's all about the life force. And so, if you open up a can of GMO corn, as opposed to going into your backyard where your beautiful garden is growing and plucking an ear of corn, it's night and day, between the benefits of one and the other. Like living lettuce, going into your backyard and picking your salad that was just growing a second ago, as opposed to, again, picking up over at the grocery store. It's all about the life force. It's all about the life force.
Right. Again, these are more things that they don't teach us about how important it is. About the food that we put in our bodies is so critical. Gosh, I just wish they would teach more in school, little kids. I really do. This world would change.
Yes, imagine if we could use strong electromagnetic fields to manipulate the local properties of space-time. This could have an important ramifications in the terms of science and engineering. Well, there's beings that do that all the time. They have this, and we might have some of that technology too. It's just not being shown.
Right.
But yeah, they could manipulate space-time. Things like traveling through a wormhole, which now at this day and age, I think most people understand that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, in days gone by, we might have thought that that was just, pure science fiction. So much science fiction is becoming science facts, and we're learning also that the facts that we're taught are fiction.
Right? Yeah, it's all getting backwards.
Yes, yeah. So, when we look at people like Rudolf Steiner, doing his experiments and talking about vril and life force, and of course, ki, chi, prana, depending on what culture you're in, it's all about the life force. And it is electromagnetic in nature. When we're running energy, it feels magnetic for sure.
Yeah.
And then as you get stronger with your ability to channel energy, it becomes more electric at times too. And of course, this article is talking about Tesla. And the Serbian inventor Tesla thought that electromagnetism contains essentially everything in our universe. Mm-hmm. This is something that's so key to understanding. It's just, and we're finally coming out there into the mainstream, and it's revealing everything that's been unfortunately had to be esoteric and occult in our Western society, hidden. But in the East and in the secret societies, these laws are very well known. It gets into, right away I think about the Kybalion and the Hermetic principles.
Right. And they always got to label things with scary words to keep people from looking deeper into them.
Yes. There was a certain gentleman who made a machine. His last name was Rife. And, you can't just simply go on Amazon and get one with all the instructions and everything. Why? Because, again, everything is about frequency and vibration. And, again, the electromagnetic aspect of all these things, it would eliminate the need in so many cases for so much big industry. And that's why you can't. And that's really a travesty when you think about it. And I've definitely experienced, sometimes to my surprise, censorship and pushback when it comes to, Qigong, for instance, and really getting into the science of Qigong. And, we worked on some really wonderful people today, and there's a lot of people out there that practiced or have practiced or do practice Reiki. I would encourage you to look deeper, go into medical Qigong and start studying a little bit deeper, look into and understand how, again, as above, so below, when we look at the vascular network of the body, well, there's meridians. They're the energetic equivalent for the energy body to the vascular network and the 3D physical body. It's, again, all about the life force.
Right. So when we take these energies and we take them out of chaos and put them in an organized way, it really helps the body run more efficiently.
Yes. And so I'm going to share with you now a recording that we did channeling the Galactic Federation.
Stay.
Is this Laurel?
This is Laurel.
Good day, Laurel. I hope all is well with you and everyone up there.
We're watching you evolve, go through certain struggles. We're watching you, helping you heal where we can.
Well, we thank you for your help and your guidance. We really appreciate it so much.
You're very welcome.
But what do you have to share with us today that can help everyone out there?
We would love to share with people what we were taught as we go through our evolution, the importance of keeping your energy body clean and protected to help you move through this process a little bit smoother.
That is wonderful. Please do share.
It's extremely important that your energy body be clean, running, and have a good amount of time for it to settle itself into the earth's energies. Let the energy body calm itself as many hours a day as possible. This includes at nighttime while you're sleeping, to shut off all of your devices, unplug all of your devices. It is important to have hygiene with your energy body, showers, salt baths. These are very helpful to keep the energy body healthy as you move through evolution. And these really do help people move through traumas at a faster rate than otherwise.
Those definitely good recommendations. Is there anything else we can be doing to maybe mitigate or help us remove any sort of nanotechnology that's in our systems?
There's many different ways to remove the nanotechnology. One of our favorites for you on Earth is using salt baths and also bathing with what you call borax is very good to help pull all these nanoparticles out of your body. Detoxing every day will also help pull them out.
Any recommendations on detoxing? Any useful substances?
Our favorite detox substance is actually just simply water and fasting for an amount of time, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever your human body can tolerate. Everyone is different.
And again, we should probably put the intention into the water that it will remove the particles and will remove the technologies as well as heal us, heal ourselves.
This is one of the things that we also want to teach you is putting your intentions into the liquids that you drink, because your body will match with these intentions in this liquid. It will help pull your vibration up. Loving the water, loving the earth, pushing these emotions into the liquid will then help purify your body and help pull your body up to that vibrational code.
And you had shared with us for more than one reason to avoid fast foods, especially in the times that I guess we're now entering.
Oh, the fast foods are horrible. We really implore people to avoid the fast foods at this time. And moving forward, there is really no safe time to ingest these toxins. Look at them as just toxins. Everything from the bags that you touch to the cups that you drink out of to the straws that you put your lips on, these are all infected. These can all make you very sick, and it can alter your evolution and harm you.
So you're saying that even the very bags are contaminated with something.
Even the very bags, everything that you touch through any kind of fast food can be harmful to your development of your energy body. Your light body will have a difficult time functioning if this is what you're ingesting and if this is what you surround yourself with.
You know, we've gotten the impression and the feeling that there is to be another wave of some sort of plague upon the land, with saying things in a way that won't get us censured. Is there anything you can say to this?
I just very strongly wish that people would avoid all of these things that have to do with any of the fast foods. Anything that's going to go into the body from any of these places, or even if you touch the bags, they could have bad results on your late body.
And ultimately, that's what this is all about: is trying to stop the ascension, and trying to keep people locked in the lower vibrational frequency in this lifetime and in lifetimes to come, as well as what we have gotten.
And we have come to you at this time to help you through this time. We understand your controllers have a very tight grip, but this is the time you're moving through the photon belt, through the light belt, where things will become illuminated. And if you are listening, you are open to this information and this evolution. We do respect your free will. It is up to you to believe that we are here to help you move through this evolutionary time.
Thank you so much for all your help, and will more people be seeing signs that you are here and here to help?
Listen with your heart chakras. Listen for the voice that says, you need to be healthier. You need to exercise your body. You need to treat your body with great respect. It is a temple. It is the way you express your soul. Listen for these voices. Listen for these intuitions.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to add at this time?
Not at this time.
Thank you, Leela. Namaste.
Namaste.
So again, yeah, that reiteration that we need to be taking care of ourselves as best as we can, detoxing every day. You know, things like baths with Epsom salts, pink Himalayan salt, borax. You know, you could add other things to your baths too, like tea tree, which we do all the time. Tea tree is so good. Again, we are going to be barraged with, unfortunately, it seems like one thing after another, one wave after another in this time period. So important to keep ourselves as healthy as possible.
Yeah, and she did. I just wanted to reiterate how important it is to put that loving vibration in the water that you drink. That's going to really help raise your vibration and help all these other things drop out and fall out in some way, shape, or form, but keep your vibration up high.
Most definitely. And we do want to share with you guys too, as many of you have discovered, we do have we are working with medicinal foods, and when you do order from medicinal foods, it does support the channel, and they have a wide variety of really good products that can help in these times too. Things like this nano silver solution, which can promote rapid healing for cuts, scrapes, and sores. And this can also help with things such as staph infection and things like candida. So again, it could help to heal fungal and yeast infections and kill pathogens. In these times, this is just like one of the things you just have to have around. This is topical, but they also have basically a liquid form that you could ingest as well. And right before this, Cindy came over to me with some immune support, some daily silver, and she gives me a little shot. It's just part of what we do. There is also an herbal elixir over here that targets viral, bacterial, and fungal pathogens. So just wanted to point that out. There's a link on every single video. As always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Thumbs up, support the channel. Make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked for notifications, and share as we keep waking people up. We will get to a critical juncture, and at some point in time, we will shift this whole paradigm.
Indeed, we will.
God bless and namaste.
Namaste.